Welcome to the official Topic Talk. Please like, share and subscribe.
Audio Jungle.
I came across this article in the Sun newspaper, and I thought I'd just cover it. Who is Brian Cockerill? Brian Cockerill was once a violent gangland enforcer who was linked with and fought some of the hardest men in England. Known as a Teesside taxman, Cockerill operated in the criminal underworld for almost 30 years. Brian Cockerill was one of the most feared men in Teesside. But who is Brian Cockerill? Brian Cockerill was once described as the 6th hardest man on the planet. This was because he spent years working as a violent gangland taxman who had countless street fights in a career that lasted almost 30 years. Before turning to a life of crime, Cockerill was a committed bodybuilder, but he lost it all when he decided to use his strength and 6'3" physique to commit violent crimes which would eventually land him in and out of prison. Over the years, the ex-hard man has been arrested on suspicion of multiple murders, shot at and stabbed. On one occasion, Cockerill was left for dead after being lured into a pre-planned ambush set up in a revenge for an attack on an underworld rival. Recording the attack, Cockerill said, "I walked in and about 12 lads smashed me over the head with a hammer, stabbed me in the back and put a gun to my head. I dropped a few of them and threw them about the house. I was about 24 stone at the time, so they couldn't put me down. It went on for about 10 minutes. I was stabbed, and I had 176 stitches and lost 2 pints of blood. They battered me with baseball bats and hammers and stabbed me. They left me for dead and said that would be the end of him. I went to hospital and they said if I was not so big, I would have probably died." Cockerill also associated with a number of violent criminals, including Lee Duffy. Duffy played a significant role in Cockerill's downfall, and he introduced him to drugs, which would eventually become an addiction for the ex-hard man. Cockerill began taking the drugs he was stealing, which led to many years of addiction, depression, and anxiety, and eventually left him with nothing but his home. However, after years of violence and stints in jail, in 2019, Cockerill decided to turn his life around and educate youngsters on the importance of how not to live a life of crime. Help. Why was Brian known as a taxman? Cockerill earned himself the name of the taxman when he began stealing from drug dealers in the Teesside area. The ex-hard man would carry out violent attacks on Teesside's cannabis gangs, in which he claimed to have stolen drugs, cash, jewellery, vehicles, and gold over the years. Cockerill claims to have witnessed over 20 tax partners murdered as a result of their criminal lifestyle, including fellow associate Lee Duffy. Is Brian Cockerill married? Cockerill is married to Emma. The pair work together to educate others and help them avoid turning to a life of crime, including hosting a podcast together and publishing a book titled Brian Cockerill and Lee Duffy, the Taxman of Teesside. They frequently post candid snaps on their joint Facebook and Instagram accounts. Where is Brian Cockerill from? Brian Cockerill is from Hartlepool, a seaside and port town in County Durham, England. He has become part of Teesside's folklore due to his criminal past and association with former gangsters in the area. Well, thanks for listening to that, guys. And to be fair with you, Brian and Emma are they're lovely people. You know, they're down to earth, and they're easy to speak to. It just goes to show you people that, you know, with a bit of help from God, you know, people can turn around their lives, you know, for the better. And I'll be leaving Brian's channel link in the description box. So please go along, give Brian a sub, and listen to some of his stories. They're brilliant. He does put out videos quite often, and it's really, really good to hear some of these stories. So till next time, guys, take care